Hi everyone, I am very happy right now because I just had my year 13 and invented an activity and it worked. As you may know, I'm a bit obsessed with close reading at the moment, and getting the students to understand that person behind the lines. So reading behind the lines, getting them to see that author at work and to think about that author as a person coming from a certain perspective, feeling certain things, wanting to do this to us, X, Y, and Z. So here's the activity. It's called Fly Spy. So I gave the students this sheet here and they had to pretend to, in order to fill out this first square, so then actually numbered. Here's the original sheet without the stickies on. You could use it without the stickies. I used stickies because I wanted to put them on the whiteboard at the end of the activity. So they had to pretend to be a fly on the wall as they watched a writer at work. Now, because I was lacking in volunteers to be actors, I had to be the actor. And so I sat there and pretended to be a writer, banging away at my keyboard as the first persona, the first writer, who was Tearful Tina. And I was crying away as I typed. And so the students had to use the starters down the bottom here to help them write questions that they might ask Tina. You know, for example, how are you feeling? What's going on in your life? And so on. So they did that, came up with great questions, and I will show some of those soon. And then the next activity was to spy over the shoulder of Tearful Tina, the writer Tearful Tina, which meant having a look at what she was writing. So that's when I gave the students this little passage here called Trampled. Yes, Trampled. And so they read that. Now that is actually a story that Tina was writing about a character called Sandra who has been dumped by her boyfriend, and it's really unfair. So she thinks it's unfair. So the students read that. Then in this column here, the spy column, they had to write 3 more questions. Again, there are starters at the bottom there. You can edit and add to that if you like. And they had to write 3 more questions about that story. And of course, the one that I was hoping they would get was, is this why you're crying? Is this what happened to you? Does your boyfriend dump you too? You know, have you been through an experience similar to this? So that was great. They were finally thinking about the person behind the lines. Okay, so then I did another one, and this was by Wound Up William. You'll love this piece. It's about how the teachers failed him because he didn't pass, even though the teacher gave him a calendar and did this and that and the other, but how was he supposed to know he had to look at it? So anyway, so William writes this piece. So I again acted. They hadn't seen the text yet. I acted, and I was William, and I was bashing away at the keyboard because I was really frustrated and angry. And so, of course, the students, they filled in that first sticky here and asked William questions. What's going on in your head? Why are you so angry? And so on. I just wanted them to visualize, so they were the fly on the wall and understand that there was a writer working. So then they got set up to fail. which was an opinion piece written by Wound Up William. And after they read that, so looking over William's shoulder, they then asked William more questions. And it was fantastic. You know, like, have you thought about the teacher's point of view? What were some of the others? I can't remember now, but I'll show them to you later. And yeah, so it was just fantastic. And they really saw the writer behind the lines. It was an easy activity to set up. I will link this resource down below. You could do a whole lot of other writers as well, have a whole lot of different scenarios going, but I think I asked the students afterwards and they said, well, they told me they would, they thought that when they sat their unfamiliar text exam, when they were doing any close reading, they would now imagine that writer or even the director, if looking at film, at work and thinking about what's going on in their head, so they could actually see the person. So anyway, that is a little activity that worked. It's very hard to explain. Hopefully you got it. But anyway, I'll do a little blog about it and link that in, and I will pop these on as links in the freebie library. So gather those and give it a shot. I think it'd be fun for year 12s as well. Maybe a simplified version for year 11s, because the texts are quite complex because they switch, and I had to make sure the kids understood that, especially for that first one, Tearful Tina was writing a story, and so that they didn't get that character and that writer mixed up. So I did give them that clue, probably didn't need to. I would do it again and not give them the clue now that they are two different people, but they coped really well. That was fantastic. Give it a shot.